What up, guys? It's your boy, the Lunar Cowboy, coming at you with another video. So there's some rumors. It's more just speculation than rumors, but one thing I like to say is where there is smoke, there is fire. So one thing, has been circulating around, and it's just, what would you do, and, would you do this, and the Cowboys should do this, but most people don't talk about what the Cowboys should do unless there's a possibility. And, the next name we're talking about is Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals, especially now that the Bengals lost Joe Burrow for about 3 months, is what they're saying. So we can assume the Bengals season is pretty much done, unless, their backup just goes off out of nowhere, which is probably not going to happen. But how do you feel about Trey Hendrickson? I know some people are going to be like, well, first of all, who is that? Trey Hendrickson is one of the better defensive ends in the league right now. He's older. Obviously, he's a lot older than Micah. But if you look at 2023 and 2024, he's had 17.5 sacks each season, which is more than Micah. Micah in 2023 had 14, and in 2024 had 12. I'm not saying he's going to replace Micah. I'm not saying he's the same as Micah, but what we need right now is a pass rush, and Hendrickson has been proven to be able to get a pass rush and sacks, which will definitely help our secondary, who right now is without Deron Blend. And even with him, I don't know how much different it would have looked this past Sunday. But another thing we can talk about is he's on his last year of his contract, and he'd be looking for a new contract. And people are estimating around $30 million a year, which is 15 less a year than Micah. So we're still able to sign players, which we already did. And the trade will probably be for most likely a second round pick, so we don't even have to touch our first round picks, hopefully. So if that's the case, I say do it. $30 million a year is a lot, but this guy does have production. And not now, when you look at the difference, like, okay, well, Michael was way better than this guy in the long run, but realistically, we didn't have Kenny Clark, and we didn't have Jadeveon Clowney. And Jadeveon Clowney was a free agent. We could have signed him either way, but we needed somebody up the middle to help, and Kenny Clark has been amazing. So, what do you think about that? Yeah, that's pretty much all I have on Trey Hendrickson. He's good. He's a good player. Again, pure speculation. I don't even call it a rumor yet, but like I said, if people are talking about it, where there's smoke, there's fire. So we'll see. I don't think anything will be made for this. Obviously, this weekend, I think the Bengals need to see how they're going to play this weekend, and then obviously we play the Bears. So again, after last week, after this last Sunday, I don't want to say anything. It's an easy game, but at some point the Cowboys got to show up. The offense has shown up, but the defense just needs to get better, and so that's where this move will come into play. So, what would you think if the Cowboys were to trade a second round pick per se and sign a Trey Hendrickson to a 3-year deal, at $30 million a year? I don't think it's that bad. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Y'all like, repost all of my other social medias on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all at the Lunar Cowboy. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Lunar Cowboy out.